Okay, today on the podcast, I have got a very, very special guest all the way from Boston. His name is Marc Predka, the Trademarc. How are you, sir?
I am good. How are you? Very special guest, huh? Wow, look at that.
Very special
A
guest,
qualifier.
a very rare commodity right here.
Yeah,
And he
I'll
said,
take
"Yeah,
it.
I'll go on a podcast in Ireland. Yeah, sure, fuck it, why not?"
Right.
For people that don't know yourself, anyway, do you want to tell us a bit about yourself?
Sure. I mean, I guess the one thing is that people usually know me as is John Cena's cousin slash trademark. Half of his album that came out, You Can't See Me, on his theme song, which still just trips me out, man, hearing it like used for memes and everything. And
Yeah,
yeah, that's pretty much what people know me from. I do a ton of other stuff now, but yeah, at least in terms of hip hop, I mean, I did that. I've done some solo records, some projects with Esoteric from Czarface under East Coast Avengers. I just wrote a book. So, I got a bunch of irons in the fire now. Got a bunch of things going, but yeah, John Cena's cousin, I guess, is
I
the
was
thing.
I wasn't going to refer to you as John Cena's cousin now on this.
I know, but that's, I mean, even if you like for some reason like Googled my name, like that's like literally the first sentence. So you know what? I'm okay with it. I owned it. It's who
Yeah.
I am.
I
It's
was looking for photos he had to put in the thumbnails for this, and every photo was just a picture of Cena, and I was like trying to crop him out of them all.
yeah, yeah. You're like this big muscly arm like around me, or like another
Yeah.
muscle arm in front of me. Yeah, you're like okay.
Was getting into hip hop and music, was that your first love, or did you have anything else before that, even in
No,
school?
I
Were
mean,
you into sports or anything?
I had dreams and aspirations of being a professional athlete, and then I realized, wow, that's never gonna happen. You just like when you stop growing at like 5'9", 5'10", and you just see everyone else just getting all these muscles, and you're just like, okay, that avenue's not open to me. And I've always loved music. Originally it was like hair metal and and just metal, and then oddly enough, John and I both found the Fat Boys Crushin' and the Beastie Boys record, and ever since then it was just like, man, like just fell in love with it. I mean, originally it was all West Coast stuff, so I kind of steered clear of the East Coast rap scene, which was bizarre. And one of my friends, 7L actually from Czarface, made me a mixtape and introduced me to East Coast hip hop probably at like '89. I mean, I listened to it, but I was more like Fifth Ward, Texas, like Ghetto Boys kind of stuff, and NWA. And then, I mean, once I heard like Tribe Called Quest and everything, I was just like, whoa, why am I not listening to this stuff?
And pre the album with John, did you have much records made by then, or much demos and things like that?
Yeah, like I've mentioned them before, Esoteric and 7L from Czarface. We actually had a group. I've known 7L since, I mean, what, like third grade. We formed a group when we were together at Salem State in college, and we recorded a couple songs. I actually have them on cassette, and I mean, we sound like chipmunks. I played it recently on just a little cassette player that, I don't have a tape player anymore, but it was like kind of like the thing you record your voice in. Every one of us sounds like a chipmunk. Like it sounds fake. It sounds like it was auto-tuned. But I mean, it's still great. Like the beat's incredible. Like I'm actually impressed that we went to the studio and like that was when it was reel to reel. So like you had to really nail your verse or you were going to be there all day. It wasn't digital, so you had to actually have. And 7L actually has the Ampex reels. He still has them in like the carrying case where you would take them from the studio and like you owned that reel. And it was just, I mean, it was hard work. I mean, it's just you press buttons and everything is so easy. Like I record verses here on the Spire and it just boom, done. It's crazy to see how far it's come.
Yeah, it's mad considering the amount of things you can do at home now, especially
Yeah.
even before this pandemic and stuff, and lots of musicians doing things at home.
Kind of exciting, it opened up an avenue for a lot of people that normally were just boxed out, whether it was financial reasons or just not many studios because they were hard to find. They really were.
And for the album that came out with John in 2005, how did that idea come about? Do you remember?
Um, well, he was wrestling. It was before he decided to adopt his real like hip hop roots, or bring that into hip hop, bring that into wrestling. He was doing some stuff, and I remember he freestyled. The story goes, and I think it was Stephanie or somebody heard him. And once we did that, he was coming into the ring and rapping, and he was like, "Dude, my theme song should reflect who I am." And we were just kicking around the idea of making a song, and that's where the Ruthless Aggression, not the Ruthless Aggression, the Thugonomics song came from. His original theme song, and that actually was done by 7L. That beat, so we did that, and we were like, "Wow, man, that it kind of came together easy." We were like, "Let's do another one." So we actually made a whole record with 7L, and that like no one's heard still, because we sent it to them, and WWE checked it out, and they wanted it. They wanted us to like refine our delivery and stuff. So we just kind of did it as like a so we did the theme song, and like we would always hang out whenever he would come home. We would hang out in a this little room that we called O'Keefe's at his house. It was kind of like a makeshift bar, and everybody would just freestyle and battle. And like we were like, "Dude, why don't we just record this stuff? Let's see if we can do something with it." And John was like, "Let's make an album." I'm like, "Okay, like I'm down." And like I said, we recorded the first one. They wanted to change it up, so we did. We went back, and we would nail like a song or two every time he came back from the road. I mean, that dude was out straight. Like, he works hard, like, anyway, but those times, like, that dude just did not stop.
Yeah, he was like, sure, they say they're on the road about 300 days a year. And then, because I remember in 2005 that John was here twice. He was here in Dublin in April and in June that year as well.
Yeah.
So like, it just goes to show, like, if he's been in Ireland twice, like, he's been pretty much all over the world all at once.
Yeah.
Where did you guys record it? All the house?
What's that?
Did you record it at the house?
No, we actually went to it was called Basecamp Studios. It's not there anymore. But it was in Linfield, Mass. So it's like, 25 minutes out of Boston.
Yeah.
But it was a hike for him, because he's, he would go into West Newbury, which is at least 45 minutes from where I was. So we would go and we record all hours of the night, and then he would drive all the way back, and, basically have a day at home to like book all of his travel and everything. But it was a lot of fun. We had a blast. Like, we still talk about it now, Did
you ever get to meet Vince McMahon?
I did, on a couple of occasions. Yeah, very intimidating individual. Just
really?
Because of like, well, I mean, I think it's because I saw him still as a kid, like how a kid would see this person that you watched on TV, and like that's who I turned into. Like, that he was one of those people. There's a few people that I've met that like I became a kid all of a sudden, and I was like, oh my God, that's like Jesus. Like, I saw this guy on TV since I was, little, and it was you don't forget those meetings.
Yeah, and he was happy with the album, I'm assuming, anyway, because it done very well.
Yeah, I mean, they pushed it like crazy. I mean, I was, I felt like just happy to be there. You know what I mean? I was like, I'm just glad I'm on these records. And yeah, they definitely pushed it. Yeah, but I think that's why they wanted us to refine the vocals, because I think they knew, that John was like so hardworking, and I think they saw the potential in him too, as just as a wrestler and entertainer. And they were like, we got to make sure we put our best foot forward with this. I'm actually glad they made us go back.
Did they make you change lyrics, or was it just, as you say, delivery?
Yeah, no, they wanted us to rap, to do it a little bit, to make it a little bit more, I think, accessible. It was rough. Like, our delivery was rough. It definitely needed polish. I'm glad they did it. And normally I'm like, I probably, especially then, I was, younger, I probably would have scoffed and been angry. But no, looking back, I mean, and even then I was like, yeah, they're right. Let's redo this.
And do you feel it changed your life in any way?
Oh, hell yeah. Yeah. I mean, I had so many experiences that I never would have had if I didn't do that. Just traveling. I mean, I was on the road with him for almost 2 years. I got to go to Milan. We did shows and whatever, we did Cleveland, Buffalo, like a lot of small places that were, they were really dope spots. And I mean, we performed in Italy. I mean, twice. It was crazy. And I got to meet.
Did you do concerts in Italy? Yeah.
Yeah, we did one at, I think the place was called Rolling Stone, and it was in Milan. And then we performed on a show that was, I guess it was comparable to like their TRL We did a song on there, and but just like, I mean, I've had so many experiences, and just being able to hang out with him a lot and watch him grow too as an entertainer was a lot of fun, especially now looking back.
Yeah, and you guys got to sing on Raw as well, which is really cool.
Yeah, I mean, dude, that was, talk about nerves. Just being like, don't swear, don't swear, don't swear, because there was
Yeah.
just one little swear in the song, and I couldn't say it, and like obviously that becomes the one thing you fixate on. You're like, just don't do that, don't do.
So you just skip that word.
Yeah, just replace it with something else. But like before going out there, you're just like, wow, this is really gonna happen, and there was like so many people, but for some reason when you're like, it's almost like you're not out there with so many people, because you just focus on the people that are right in front of you, and everything else just seems fake. It was a surreal moment, man. It was crazy.
And it was actually well received from the audience as well that night, which was cool to see, because sometimes like when there's little in-betweens and wrestlers with kind of whether it be acting or music, sometimes it's not well received, you know.
Yeah, yeah, I know. I mean, people loved him, and they still do, obviously. But like at that time, oh my god, yeah, it was a blast too. Yeah,
Yeah. He was the hottest thing and for a long time in that company, you know, fair play to
yeah.
him. Your music since that album, what have
Mhm.
you been up to music wise?
Well, I did a little bit of like an experimental record right after that, and I was just like seeing like what my sound actually was. But the first like real album I made was under the East Coast Avengers name. That was with Esoteric, and DC the Mini Alien produced it, and it was very it's if you listen to it, you know when it was made, because it's very political, and I don't I think it's some of the best stuff that I've done, because Seamus Esoteric just brought out like the best of me. Like he would write a verse and I would hear it and be like, oh my god, I have to touch that, and I have to get to that level. He's a prolific writer, man. He just doesn't stop. I don't know how he does it. And then we did a second East Coast Avengers record, Avengers Airwaves, similar vein, more MCs on it, and then I did a couple of solo records.
And how have they been going for you?
I mean, I
It's
accepted.
hard. It's hard at the moment. Like when you're making music, to make money from music, it's all about touring now, isn't it?
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, I linked up with Strange Famous Records. That's Sage Francis and B Dolan's label, and they've they put out my last record on a digital release only, and I'm going to be doing another one coming up with Prolific, who's another one of their artists, who's a super talented dude. That'll be coming out maybe in a year or a year and a half.
Yeah.
Yeah, when I make music now, I mean, I love it. So like, I'm never gonna stop making music. But I mean, I make it and put it out there, and if people buy it, they buy it, and if they don't, I mean, I don't know what to do. It's I just that's what I do. I make music.
Yeah. And aside from that, I see you putting up a lot of strange action figures on Instagram. What's
Yeah.
your involvement with them?
I honestly am just obsessed with. It's probably just me being dealing with my Arrested Development. Like I'm just stuck in the '80s. No, I mean I love '80s toys, and I just have surrounded myself with that. I call it the nerdery. I have 2 rooms downstairs, just absolutely littered with GI Joe, Star Wars, Mask, all of these toys, and I don't know. It's my happy place.
And do you have any involvement in making those, or are you just collecting them?
I actually did. Yeah, I made a toy with Delicious Again Peter. I had it linked up. It was do you remember the little muscle figures, those pink muscle figures?
Yeah.
It's a variation on that, and I did the artwork on that. And Delicious Again Peter on Instagram is his stuff is really dope, and I helped make that figure. We're gonna work again in the future with this gallery's 1988. I've done
Okay.
some prints for them, but we're gonna actually make a figure for them too.
Cool. And your website, Stankfoot Official,
Yeah.
that's basically you and your merch and your what you've got going on in your life, yeah?
Yeah. I'm trying to gear it more towards my poetry lately. So
Yeah.
my Instagram handle is marc.predka.poetry now. And I'm trying to just strictly move into that avenue, because it's kind of where my passion is going right now. I just have, I don't know, just been writing a lot, and moving it towards that. I have a separate one for the nerdery now with the toys.
And do you find a lot of similarities between rap and poetry?
Yeah. I mean, I've always done both. I think my first rap actually I found recently, which is so weird. I found it in an old like photo album, and I wrote a song with 2 verses, and George, who is 7L, who I've mentioned before, helped me like structure it a little better. And it's called In Too Deep. I have the picture of both of us, and I have that, and I'm gonna frame that and throw it up. But yeah, I've always written, whether it was poetry or lyrics, and I mean, poetry's poetry is a strange thing because when you read pad poetry, you know it. And looking back on the stuff that I wrote, I'm like, oh my God, you know. But I mean, you have to start somewhere to grow. You know what I mean? Like, if you don't like give yourself douche chills doing something, then chances are you haven't grown and got better, or you're just a prodigy, which is rare.
Yeah. Do you want to tell us a little bit about the latest poetry book?
Yeah, hold on.
Product placement.
Here it is, right here. Yeah. Yep. Right on the battleship behind me. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I started writing that probably like the oldest poem in there is probably 5 years, but for the most part, they're all within the last year or two. I hit up this poet, John Davis, and he edited it for me. He's a really talented guy from New Mexico. He was like our poet laureate for a while. He might still be. And I just collected those, and I decided I'm putting a book out, and I'm working on a second one right now.
And how's it going for you?
It's going well. I mean, I've had people hit me up saying I love this, I love that, and a lot of positive reviews. I mean, I'm sure the people that have negative reviews aren't going to let me know. I mean,
yeah,
but yeah, no, it's been mostly positive reviews. I have it up on BarnesandNoble.com. It's Tell Me All About Me is the name of the book. And it's up on stankfootofficial.com.
Do you still have an interest in pro wrestling? Watching it?
I haven't watched much lately. I mean, to be honest, the problem is like there's so much to watch that I'm almost it's almost overwhelming. It's almost like, I mean, I'm a huge video game guy. I don't know if you are, but playing open world video games, like the concept is incredible, but then you start playing and you're like, there's almost so much to do. You're like paralyzed by that.
Yeah.
Wrestling, I mean, I'll put it on every now and then just to see what's up. Like if there's a match that I'm super interested in, or when John has made appearances, I definitely watch all of his matches. I always made a point to do that. But now, I mean, not really. Like I follow John, and I follow Matt Cardona, who has become a definitely a friend of mine. I think I can call him that. He's been an influence in making the toys too. He helped me out with like taking photos of stuff so that I could get some stuff done. And so I follow his matches too. But
he was a guy, Matt Cardona. He was a guy that I thought like really should have been projected more to the moon in WWE. Like, do you remember when he was doing that online stuff, his Z-True online story and stuff?
I don't know.
You don't remember that, but like he was basically doing all this his own stuff on YouTube, and the fans were going mad for it, and then like he wasn't really getting the push in WWE, but the fans loved him, and I just he's happier where he is now, I think, anyway.
Yeah, I mean, I think so. I think he is. I mean, the stuff he's doing with the toys, I mean, I love it. I mean, I mean, look around. I have toys all around me like that. I follow that more than his wrestling. Like I love the fact that he wrestles. It's great, but I'm more into him as like the toy guy, and watching him and his partner do that is awesome.
Even for myself, like as a wrestling fan, I'm kind of tuning in and out of it at the moment, and I feel like it's lacking without a live audience as well. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, that's actually a good point. I didn't even think of that. Maybe that's why. Yeah, anything that needs a live audience. For some reason, wrestling is it's not, it's an obvious thing. They feed off of the fans, like even in matches, you know what I mean? Like they'll, whatever is like hitting, they play off of that. So it's tough when there's no one there to actually like see, oh, this is working, let's do this. Or, we're getting booed, maybe we should do something else. You know what I mean? Because like I've watched sports, and to be quite honest, after maybe like the first couple of weeks, I just got used to it. Like football, American football. And
Yeah. It's the same with the other football over here.
Yeah.
You just get used to it. But
yeah, you do,
wrestling,
and then you're just like, whatever. Yeah, But wrestling is very it's interactive. You know what I mean? You don't realize it until I think right now how interactive it is.
I was talking to a guy the other day, and he got on it's called the Thunderdome, what WWE do now. So it's basically virtual like this, except you can see the wrestling happening. And he said that there's a director there telling him when to cheer, when to boo. And he said that he wasn't really doing anything, and they just cut him off, because they want you going crazy and whatever.
Yeah.
So like wrestling is on at like 2 a.m. over here. So this guy waited up till 2 a.m. and then they just went.
My God. I mean, that's got to be tough, like to fabricate excitement. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I don't know what you want me to do. Like, it's not doing it for me.
Do you think yourself and John would ever release another album, or is there any tracks that you guys have down that are out there somewhere?
I'm gonna say no, but I mean, you can't ever. I guess you can't ever rule anything out.
Yeah.
There are tracks out there. I did actually 3 songs. He was supposed to be on my my Black Ash Days album, and he recorded 3 verses. Very good too. And I think it might have been Vince. Someone said no at the last minute. It was so close to happening. So, I mean, but then again, you can't rule anything out. I mean, at all. But as for albums, no. I kicked around the idea of seeing if they would release like a vinyl special edition.
Yeah,
maybe.
I was thinking about that. Like,
yeah. But I mean, that's probably it. I mean, even then, like, I don't know if the ship has sailed, it's sailed. I mean, I think it would be cool. There's definitely some awesome ideas, like a You Can't See Me version that was just everything was clear and there was no writing on it. I think that would be pretty rad. You know what I mean? But I don't know. I mean, like I said, never say never, but leaning towards no.
Just make sure there's not a censored version.
No, that's how you buy it twice. I'll make 3 versions.
I better elaborate on that. Before we went on air, I was telling Mark that I went to the store to pick up their album, and I got it and I brought it home and I put it in the CD player, and then censored version.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And the second song is called Don't Fuck With Us, so you can imagine.
Yeah, you're like, oh, great.
Just can't hear anything.
Just dead air. The whole song's just dead air. Yeah. Like, oh, this is great.
Don't want to.
Just what I wanted. Oh, no.
What does the future have in store for you?
I mean, dude, I'm just gonna keep collecting toys, writing poems, making a new album for Strange Famous. Definitely check them out. Bunch of dope artists on there. Couple of things in the can. Well, not in the can yet, but we're in the process of happening. So if these things come to fruition, maybe we could talk again, and I'll have some details for you. But right now, just writing.
For sure, we'll definitely catch up again.
Yeah.
Listen, it was great to chat to you, man, and have a great day.
Yeah, you too, man. Thanks.
Cheers, man.
All right, bye.